السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا زدنا علما، اللهم فقهنا في الدين. اللهم إني أسألك علما نافعا ورزقا طيبا وعملا متقبلا. آمين يا رب العالمين. So here we are with our session number 203 in and we are inshallah going to complete the topic of taqdeem wa ta'khir, and we are going to inshallah begin a new topic which we have covered here and there, but inshallah we are going to focus on that and we'll master it in this session bismillahi ta'ala. So in the last session we were learning about taqdeemul maf'ul bihi. There we have learned how sometimes maf'ul bihi is going to be also seen before file. There were three cases that you have learned in your previous sessions in your term 3, and you also went over what were the four cases where it is wajib for maf'ul bihi to be before fail. So if I can, see some answers from you, what were the four cases you are going to see your maf'ul bihi before your fail? Who can remind me? First case is if it is an independent pronoun. If maf'ul bihi is an independent pronoun, can you give me an example of an independent pronoun that is maf'ul bihi, that is nasb status? How does it look like in Quran? Iyaka, iyana, iyahu, right? All those iya words, if you see them before your fail, it is wajib for them to be before the fail, because that is how they're going to be, because their purpose for being there is to produce exclusivity, to single out something, to restrict an action to just that very pronoun. Okay, so when we say Iyaka na'budu, do we restrict action of worship to only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When we say Iyaka nasta'in, do we ask help only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So bringing pronoun forward is going to restrict an action to only and only to that very pronoun. If you are all understanding this concept, type 1. If it is clear to you, type 1. So what is the purpose of iyaka or iyana or all these pronouns if they are seen before your fail? If in case of jumla failure, you are going to say that we are restricting an action only to that pronoun. Okay, only is going to be seen in your translation, and the only is coming from the change in the sequence, because your pronoun, instead of saying na'buduka, we are saying iyaka na'budu, right? So because of the change in the sequence of fail and maf'ul, we bring word only. I hope this is clear to all of you. So this is one of the case when you are going to see your damir, which is maf'ul bihi, before your fail. The second case, where you are going to be seeing your maf'ul bihi before your fail is going to be if your maf'ul bihi is a question word, as Sister Faiza has typed. If your word is a question word, if your maf'ul bihi is a question word, your question word must be before the fail, because those are from asmaul sidara. Asmaul sidara, right? Asmaul sidara. And and there are two other cases that we are inshallah going to review again in this session, so that you can solidify this concept. And it's not that you learned this concept but you don't have complete understanding. If you are asked about it, you don't have any idea of what's going on. So if your maf'ul bihi is from a question word, it must be in the beginning. Which group are we going to see in the beginning as a maf'ul bihi in jumlatul failure? Is it going to be, you have learned that your small istifham are going to be divided into three groups. I'm talking about taqdeemul maf'ulun bihi. So be very careful when you are answering. Please be very careful. Is it going to be group 1, group 2, or group 3? Group 2 was kaifa, anna, aina, kaifa, anna, aina, mata, right? So that was for jumla ismiya. And here we are talking about taqdeemul maf'ulun bihi, jumla failure. So you are going to focus on your group 1 and 3. Group 1 and 3. Al-majmu'atul ula, al-majmu'atus salisa. So my dear sisters, me repeating all these words all the time is not to make you scared of grammar. I want you to learn these terms so that when you say these terms they come to you very natural. Okay, so in majmuatul ula the first group includes maman and the third group includes kam and ayu, right? Everyone with me? Just a quick recap: maman, kam and ayu, right? For jumlatul failure my focus is going to be maman from the asmaul istifham and kam ayu. I hope this was clear to all of you, right? Alhamdulillah. If it is, type 1. Let me just hear from you. Let me just let things sink into your brain so that I'm not rushing you through the concept, okay? And meanwhile I'm closing the door. Okay. So now this has been, our asmaul istifham job is done, right? When it comes to um, al majmuatu salisa, for come, what will determine that how you are going to put Arab on come? What will determine how you should put Arab on your come? Tamyiz of come is going to be the determinant for Arab of come. How you are going to put an Arab on come is going to be based on its tamyiz. And for ayu, what should determine the Arab of ayu? What should be the main determining factor? How should you put an Arab on ayu? It's going to be, you can say that it's mudaf ilayhi, right? It's mudaf ilayhi is what it is, right? So it's mudaf ilayhi is going to be determining how you should label a you, okay? Just we are going to learn them in the next few sessions, but just a heads up, just a just an opening of that concept for you guys. I just want you to how you are going to put an Arab, and we are going to just do one example, and that's going to be inshallah ta'ala very clear to you with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So let me just ask you one more question now. So you have told me that for if my maful bihi is damir unmunfasila, like iyaka, iyana, iyahu, it has to be in the beginning. Okay, it must be before my fail. The second case you told me, if my word is ism istifham, for it is as-sidaratu min al-kalam. So it is the beginning. It must be in the beginning. I don't say your name is what. I say what is your name, right? So same way when the question words come, they must be in the beginning. So in of jumlatul failure, and they are going to be labeled as mafulun bihi muqaddam. The third case, the third case is no, third case is, I think, my dear sisters, in the same very case, okay, among the asmaul sadara, did you have learned two more things? And sister Zohra has mentioned kam khabariya there. Sister Zohra mentioned kam khabariya there. And then you guys already have mentioned your asmau shart. Someone, Sister Faiza, mentioned asmau shart, right? In your, when you are looking at asmaus sadara, you are learning about asmaul istifham, asmaul shart, and kam khabariya together, right? Everyone, is this clear to all of you? Type 1 if it is. So what words should be in the beginning as maf'ul bihi? They should be, if there is ism istifham, must be in the beginning. If it is ism shart, must be in the beginning. If it is kam khabariya. Remember when I did a small video and I was teaching you kam, I taught you it is from the words that must be in the beginning of the sentence. And if I show you an example here, I think this one here. Kam arsalna min nabihi fil awwalin. what kind of a come are you looking on my screen? If you have to tell me what is the type of come, you're going to tell me the type of come is come al-khabariya. What helped you determine that, Zarina? How did you know that this is come al-khabariya? Why not istifamiya? Min after, very well done. When there is min after, you are going to call your come as come al-khabariya. You are seeing it in jumlatul failya, arsalna being the fail, right? You all agree? You all agree? Arsalna, arsalna means arsalna is fail madin, wal file, damir baris, muttasil, naul fa'ilin, right? Naul fa'ilin is the damir, that is the doer pronoun in this word. So now you have a fail and a file. Min nabiyi is the tamyiz for come. So we send many messengers. You know, how many messengers have we sent in the awwalin, in the former people? Hmm? So how are you going to label this come? What will be the label for the come? You already have your fail and a file. What do you need? Maf'ulun bihi, right? You all agree? Dilruba, I'm not seeing your answers. Afsha, right? This is going to be maf'ul bihi muqaddam. Min nabiyi is the tamyiz for your come, and that is how you're going to label it. Remember, when the tamyiz of come is denoting an akil, it is going to be just treated like something like man. Okay, so what is answering, if it is answering your man question, come is going to be labeled as mafulun bihi muqaddam. The same thing is happening here. Kam ahlakna min qaryatin. Ahlakna fail will file, right? How many towns have we destroyed? Many towns we have destroyed, right? So this come is come al-khabariya again. Do you all agree, right? And min qaryatin. Min qaryatin is the tamyizu come, right? It is a tamyiz for this come. Now this is ghair akil, working like ma. Is it answering your ma question? Is just come answering your ma question? Because mafulun bihi is what? It is going to answer your what and who questions. And here come is answering your what question. So it is behaving like ma. You are going to call it mafulun bihi muqaddam again, right? Just like here, this come was acting like man. It was answering your man question. You called it mafulun bihi muqaddam. Same is going to be the case with come. Ahlakna min qaryatin. Everyone with me so far? So you know what are asmaul sadara? Everyone is with me on that? If I ever, wake you up from your sleep and ask you what are asmaul sadara, you can tell me that they can be asmaul istifham, asmaul shart, and kamal khabariya, right? So then comes the third case, and let me just, everyone already knows that, if there is a mashartiya, the mafulun bihi is going to be right after it, right? And sometimes that amma ashartiya can be mahzuf as well, right? You all are with me on that? And why amma shartiya is used? It is used for emphasis. It is used to bring attention to that very object or person or place or whatever is coming after amma. It has been made, it's been brought forward to have emphasis, to bring attention to that very thing. Okay, if it is al yatim, focus on yatim. Don't, because these are the people you can easily ignore. You may not rebuke your children of a very rich person, but you are prone to do that. You are prone to do that to orphan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought it right after amma ashartiya, so that you focus, you pay attention to yatama of the society, and you don't rebuke them. When it comes to warabbaka fakabbir, sometimes people start glorifying things for people, places other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to glorify and to, declare greatness of Him alone, because only He deserves that, right? When it comes to Thiyabaka, Allah wants you to make sure that you pay attention to your clothes when you are doing any act of worship. and otherwise as well. فطهر, make sure you are in the state of purity, right? People who remain in wudu. Remember, there's a hadith where one of the Sahabi, probably I don't want to misquote the name, was he said that I always stay in the state of wudu. So it's the purity is a part of is a very important part of our deen. So we need to be purified tangibly and intangibly, both ways, right? So this was the recap of what we have done in our last session. And if these four conditions are not there, and you see something like this, like fariqan kadzabtum, this is jais case, there is allowance for that, and that's it. If it was nuhan hadainahu, will I still label nuhan as my mafulun bihi muqaddam? If there was a who after hadaina, how many of you say that I should not then label it as mafulun bihi? Very well done, Rabiha. Yeah, I did not ask about Rabiha yet. No, why not? Shamim, what is happening here then? We are not going to label it as mafulun bihi muqaddam, because my fail is already engaged, it's already mashghul, so it's going to be labeled as maful bihi for fail mahzuf. There was another hadaina which has been omitted before nuhan. It has been mahzuf before nuhan. So therefore, and this nuhan is the maful bihi for that very fail. But do you know why that happened? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if something like that happens, why is that going to be there? Nuhan hadainahu, or as-samaa rafa'aha. Why is it something brought forward? Yes, to bring attention to that very thing. For ihtimam. When you pay attention, when something is brought forward for to pay attention to that very thing, the term for in Arabic for that is ihtimam. Al-ihtimam, to draw attention to something or someone. What is the term for that? Al-ihtimam. You don't need to memorize all those terms. Don't need to memorize all those terms. They will come naturally to you if you are someone who just love Quran, love the words of Allah. They are going to be very, very easily understood. You just need to pay attention to small details, and inshallah, everything becomes second nature. I am a person with a science background, and I'm teaching you Arabic grammar. So nobody would have ever thought of it. 10 years ago, you can ask my sister. I was very, I was, yeah. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. So, I don't even want to go there because if Allah has done something for me, I just want to keep it that way. Okay. Allahumustur awrati wa amir rawati. Like, oh Allah, hide my defects, my faults, my mistakes. So, so we all can learn, but we just need to, I shared something on my YouTube that, someone's asked someone that, how much Quran should we read? So, and the answer from that salaf was that, the amount of happiness you're looking for. So, and honestly, I found my happiness in Quran, and anything and everything about Quran brings me happiness. My kids learning Quran, if they have an extra session here and there, I get excited about it. So, we just have to have that mindset where, um, we have to find pleasure and happiness in Quran. So once you are able to do that, things are going to fall in place. This Arabic learning is nothing. It's just a one small step that you are taking towards your creator, okay? Just to understand his words. You want to know how he's talking to you. Okay. So inshallah, today we are going to go over why, I told you in our very last session that there is an amil in jumla ismiya which is mubtada, and it makes khabar rafa. And if there is in jumla failure, there's an amil which is fail, and it makes file marfu, and your maful bihi nasb and status. If something is brought before your mubtada or before your fail, the purpose is ikhtisas. Al-ikhtisas means to make something special. To make something special. When I say Iyaka na'budu, did I make Allah special? What do you think? When I say only you we worship, wa iyaka nasta'in, only you we seek help from. So I'm saying that especially you, I worship, and especially you alone, I ask for help. And this is the mindset that Allah wants us to build and to nurture in our children, in ourselves, in our societies, that we are only supposed to ask for help from Allah and Allah alone, right? So the purpose of bringing anything before mubtada in jumla ismiya and jumla in anything before fail in jumla failure is ikhtisas, to make something special. Okay, and also for emphasis as well. And when something has been brought before your and other than and anything other than fail or mubtada, then you think about something else. Okay, so there are very many terms that I have on my slide, and this slide is very busy slide, and this slide is, something, maybe overwhelming. But let's just go over each and everything. A takhsis, to specify, to make something or someone special. What is a takhsis? To make some things, to specify, to make someone or something special. खास करना, किसी को खास बनाना, ठीक है? Al-ihtimam, to draw attention to someone or something. Okay, Allah wants you to focus on sky. Allah wants you to focus on the yatama of the society. Allah brought them forward. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them mafulun bihi muqaddam, right? At-takhweef comes from khawf, and you have learned that this word at-takhweef, at-tahzir, where are these words coming from surf wise? What is the surf of at-takhweef, at-takhzir, ta'aleem, right? So they are from family number 2, right? So these words are from family number 2, and they are there when it is a takhweef. It means to make someone scared of the consequences. That if you don't do this, be careful. Okay. A tahzir, to warn someone. Hazara, to warn someone or something of of impending danger. Okay. A tashweek, shauq. What is shauq? मुझे बहुत शौक है पढ़ने का, which is very untrue. Interest, right? So to create interest or desire to know about someone, to make someone fond of something, yes, is what a tashweek is. Again, word is from tashweek, takhweef. What do you think the surf is? For family 2 again. Now the next word is, now this is, so far anyone is finding them hard to understand in terms of meaning. So what happens is, in a tashweek, you are going to be developing, someone is trying to create shock in you, or someone is trying to create an interest in you to know about something, is trying to create a curiosity. Yes, that's a word. Yeah. So then comes a ta'zeem, to glorify someone or something. What is ta'zeem? To glorify someone or something, to show respect, right? At tashrif, to show virtue, honor, preference. Sharf, the same thing. It comes from sharf, which means honor, to show the virtue, honor, or preference. Okay. As-sabq, to show which precedes or came before another. Okay. Which came first. Okay. As-sabq, sabiqu. What does sabiqu means? As-sabiquna, yeah, to race towards something, so be the first one, right? As-sabiqun al-awwalun, right? As-sabiqun al-awwalun. So sabiqun means the ones who are always first. So this word as-sabq comes from the same word. It's the same root letters, right? To show which precedes or came before another. As-sababiyya. Sababiyya, sometimes the first is the reason for the second. The something, sababiyya is the reason, so that will tell you that what is first is the reason for the second one, that is muakhar. Okay. Yes, this is general. I'm going to come to that. Al kasra, what is the meaning of kasra? When something is kasir, it means a lot, right? Kasir is plenty, a lot, right? الترقي من الأدنى إلى الأعلى. Progress, taraqi. Taraqi in Urdu, we understand it as progress, right? Um, or promotion. So in Arabic, الترقي من الأدنى إلى الأعلى means, something is progressing from down to up. Okay, going up. التعجيل, تعجيل family two, and it shows to show. Ujla, you have learned this word. The same root letters came in Surah Taha that you just covered. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Musa alayhi salam, what made you hasten towards me? And he said that, I hasten to, my people are on my footsteps, but I just wanted to come meet you, right? So ta'jeel is to show urgency, right? To get your pleasure, yeah, so that you are happy with me, Allah. Yeah. So all these words, any confusion about any of these words? Anyone wants me to give you an Urdu meaning? I will try. I can try that too. We're good? This, what you are seeing, and you have seen your slides already, is not to do with grammar. Okay? One thing is nahu, and one thing is, you know, balagha or general understanding of things. Okay? So at takhsis, we have covered it in just I'm showing you the examples to specify something, to make something special, and we have covered this, and now you know that you are making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala special, and you're saying only you we worship and only you we ask for help. So at takhsis, this is, I hope, clear to all of you. And here you are seeing a grammatical reasoning as well. Okay? Then comes al-ihtimam, to draw attention to someone or something. And here, what are you seeing? Grammatically, what are you seeing? Can somebody tell me? وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا. Ishtighal. Grammatically, you are seeing ishtighal on my screen, right? And here, as-sama'a has been, it looks like it has been brought forward. But is it really brought forward? No, it's not. It's just been there. And it is the maf'ul bihi for a fi'l mahzoof. But why is it before rafa'a ha? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used another sentence as a jumla to tafsiriya after as-sama'a. What was the reason to do that? It could have been just rafa'a as-sama'a for ihtimam, to draw attention to something. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to pay attention to as-sama'a. Do you really pay attention to sky when you go out? If you don't do that, do that. Okay? In Talimul Quran, I learned, that we need to, focus on the halqa samawati wal ard. We need to pay a special attention to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is, you just don't focus on the ayat in the Quran. You have to focus on the ayat that are out there for you. Okay? Yes. Koni ayat, yes. So you have to make sure that you focus on them too, inshallah. So now what happens here? To make someone fearful of consequences, I'm now telling you about التخفيف والتحذير. إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. عليكم. You have إن الله as your nasab mansub, and this is lafzul jalala ismu inna mansub للتعظيم, and then comes the khabru inna, which is fi'l naqis nasikh madin kana, wa ismu kana huwa, and khabru kana is raqiba. But you are seeing muta'alliq bil khabar before your khabar, right? Though it, you know, what type of grammar I'm teaching you or how I'm teaching you taqdeem wa ta'khir, I don't make much out of it. But, a human mind may, think about it that, I was thinking of ismu kana, khabru kana, and then muta'alliq bil khabar, right? Do you all think about it like that? That there was a ismu kana, khabru kana, and then muta'alliq bil khabar. But why alaykum has been, a little, before the khabar. Whatever you have learned, it may not, have any significance in grammatical world. But here I will just tell you that, it is to make us especially fearful of the consequences. It is to warn us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning kum first, and it is rakiban at the end. Okay. And yeah, it is a pure nakira as well, yes, but still, why alaikum is before. You can just, because remember, pure nakira is come into play when you will have muta'alliq bil khabar and mubtada only. But this is your raqiba is not your mubtada, right? It's not ismu kana either, right? So here, if you have to, think about it, that why, alaikum, some say that alaikum has been brought forward, has been before the khabar, to show us that we need to be fearful of the consequences. It is to warn us all. Okay? Is it clear to all of you? Alhamdulillah. Are we all on the same page? Sister Amina, easy? So I can start creating some tashfiq, some shock in you to learn about al-mumin at-taqi. So al-mumin at-taqi. So here, the God-fearing believer is being talked about. هو الذي يدخل الجنة ويتنعم بنعيمها وما فيها مما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت. The God-fearing believer is the one who will enter into paradise and enjoy the pleasures within, in which no eye has seen nor any ear that heard. So when you see this taqi mu'min, what is happening? You have been now alerted to learn about this moment. Don't you think? You want to know who is this moment? What is his story? And I want to be in the category of this taqi, right? This this when this kind of a thing is there, you want to know more about it. He is the one who will enter the Jannah and will enjoy the pleasures of Jannah, which no eye has seen and no ear has heard. So when this thing comes before, this mubtada is creating the curiosity and the khabar is satisfying the curiosity, right? The moment is the main idea here. Yes, yes. So to create interest, or or desire to know, something has been brought in the beginning, and then you want to learn more about it, and then you see the rest of the story afterwards. Everyone, is this clear to all of you? That why, and the same thing your mubtada also does, right? Alhamdu, when you see alhamdu, the praise. What about the praise? Who is the praise for? Who should we say all the gratitude? Who our gratitude belongs to who, right? And when it comes lillahi, for Allah, then you realize that all praise and all gratitude only and only belongs to Allah. And we are very um, we rush to, sometimes, if somebody is of higher authority than us, we we bend our we can do anything to praise them, and sometimes we go overboard praising people. But do we praise Allah like that? I'm not saying that you should not praise people. You know, uh, praising people is also good, but not to get benefits from them. You should give, people, you should talk to people nicely, but at the same time, are we doing the same thing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or, because who has the most right on us, right? This is just, trying to tell you that when a word is, this is not related to grammatical aspect. These, not what we are learning right now is beyond grammar. When you're just learning when something is in the beginning, anytime when you are seeing something in the beginning, you need to know why this word has been brought forward. And this is inshallah going to help you a lot. And these notes are from a book of a scholar, and these are from the Balagha book. These are not from these are not Nahu notes. Just to clarify, yes, Jazakallah khair, Sister Faiza. So now what is a ta'zeem? When you have to glorify someone, you have to show respect, or you have to magnify someone or something. That someone or something is going to be mentioned first. When it comes to Allah and His Messenger, who deserves more ta'zeem from us? Allah, 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 right? It's Allah, right? Everyone agrees. So when you see Allah and His messenger mentioned in Quran, you will see it's always lafzul jalala, Allah first, and then comes the messenger. Why? Because Allah is Allah is all deserving of all glory, right? All glory and greatness belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then comes, and then comes Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Okay. The next thing, at-tashrif, to show virtue, honor, or preference. Okay. So, innal muslimina wal muslimati wal mu'minina wal mu'minati, that surah Al-Ahzab, verse number 35, where women are also mentioned. But some may ask that why men are mentioned before women. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us all the same, but He has appointed man as Qawwam over us. He has a rank over us. So to show the virtue, honor, and preference, because he has been given a lot of responsibilities. Don't you think? Man has a lot of responsibility in he is a rai of the house, right? He has been, he's the bread earner of the house. He is to provide for his family. He is to make sure his wife is doing the right thing, right, and his daughter is doing the right thing. His son is doing the right thing. He is going to be asked about all of us. The men in your household, my father, your father, or my husband, and your husbands are all going to be answerable to Allah one day. We don't realize what responsibility they have. They themselves sometimes don't realize. Some men also don't realize that the honor with all these responsibilities come the accountability, and this is when the rank is given and the preference is given, it's also they will be asked about it too in the end, right? Yes, poor man. So I agree with you. I feel bad for my brothers for once in Islam. So, but that's fine. But now let's look at the verses. So when you see man mentioned before a woman, don't start arguing. Oh, don't feel bad about yourself. Allah has given so much honor to us. My hijab, everywhere I go, I work with men all the time. I'm at work. My 90% of the population I see is the man. My patients are men, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the hijab and everything, we are so protected. We are so protected, alhamdulillah. So, we should be happy with whatever we are given. But, this verse is showing that man has a virtue and honor, and he's preferred over us. He's given a rank over us because he's a kawam. He's responsible. He's been given a lot of responsibility. When it comes to animals, wal khayla, wal bighala, wal hamir. So we are talking about the horses, mules, and donkeys. What do you think Arabs love the most among these three, or you love the most? Horses, 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 right? They were the sign of wealth, right? Right? They were the sign of wealth. It's just like, yes, Shamim, I agree that, it's just about, if you want to drive, um, you know, Mercedes versus something that I drive, like a Honda. So, if I have to put them here, so it's going to be Mercedes and um, what should I bring here? I can say Lexus, and then it comes, here comes in place of donkey, I can add my Honda, right? So make sense. So Khail has been brought forward because of how people prefer it, how people like it, and how expensive it is, right? So when you see in Quran, Surah Nahl, verse number 8, horses mentioned before mules and donkeys, you know why the horses were the first ones. Okay, so they were the preferred entity of the time for Arabs. Okay, and in Quran you all the time see believers mentioned before kuffar, ashabul yamin mentioned before ashabul shimal, heavens mentioned before earth, sun over the moon, and al-ghaib before shahada. So, al-ghaib is, what is ghaib? What is in the ghaib? The heaven is in the ghaib. You cannot see it, right? Where is Allah? You cannot see it. It is unseen, right? So, this all unseen, is this something that has more virtue, that has more honor? So when you see Alimul Ghaibi wa Shahada, you know why Al Ghaib is now before Al Shahada. But you can see the mountain, the water, the skies. You cannot see. Can you see Jannah? Will you include Jannah in Al Ghaib? Will you? Yes, angels, Al Ghaib, all these unseen. So Alimul Ghaibi wa Shahada. Now think about them whenever you are making your evening azkar or morning azkar, there is a dua which has alim al ghaibi wa shahada. So in that, at that time, you will be reminded of why al ghaib has been mentioned, because it has more virtue, because you cannot see Allah, you cannot see angels, you cannot not see heavens. So all that has been hidden, that has been unseen from you. Okay, then comes a sabq, which was the which to show which precedes or came before another. Allahu yastafi min al malaikati rusula wa min nas. So here, malaika are mentioned before the people, and Allah, and we learn that humans are ahsanu takween, humans are ashraful makhluqat, right? You all have heard those terms for human beings. But why Malaika are mentioned before Annas, from the people, from before people? Why are they mentioned before people? Malaika. Do you know why? They were created first. They came before. Very well done. Very well done. لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم. Sinatun, drowsiness, right before the sleep. Sinatun, what happens first when you are going to sleep? Do you immediately go into REM sleep? No, you become drowsy and then you sleep, right? The drowsiness has come before the sleep, because the drowsiness precedes the sleep, right? So that is why in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayatul Kursi, when you read La ta'khuzuhu sinatun wala nawm, when even you are reading Ayatul Kursi, most of the time I go to sleep reading that. So this drowsiness is before the sleep, that therefore it is mentioned before. Suhufi Ibrahima wa Musa. Ibrahim came first or Musa alayhi salam came first? Who came first? Who remembers? Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Suhuf of Ibrahim was the first one, and then Musa alayhi salam Torah came. So therefore, when you see Suhuf Ibrahim wa Musa, so Ibrahim was first mentioned for the reason he came first, and then came Musa alayhi salam. Then comes وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان. So here, التوراة والإنجيل. Which book came first? Torah came first, therefore mentioned first, and Al Injil came after it. The reason for that is a sabak, to show which came first and which came after. Clear to all of you? That sometimes things are mentioned before because they come before. Because Injil came to Isa alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam came after Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam was given a Torah. So that is why Torah was mentioned first, because Musa alayhi salam came before Isa alayhi salam, right? Then comes irka'u wasjudu. What do you do first in your salah? Do you do sajda first or you do ruku? You do ruku first. So if you see in Quran, warka'u wasjudu. So why is irka'u first? The reason is going to be because you do ruku first. It is done before sajda. The order is that it is the first thing before sajda. Not the first thing, but it is done. It is preceded by sajda. It is preceded by ruku. Therefore, a ruku is mentioned before. Everyone with me so far? as-sababiyah. Sometimes that first is the reason for the second one. Inna Allah azizun hakim. Indeed Allah, Aziz, in, indeed Allah is almighty and all wise, or is the only hakim. Okay, hakim can be understood in the meaning of a judge, in the meaning of a ruler as well. Do you all understand that? That Hakim has a broader meaning, not just all wise, it can include all other meanings as well. So, Aziz means to have might, someone who has might. Izzah is to is it has to do with the might. If you have all power, only then you can rule, right? You cannot rule without without all might, right? If you don't have Izzah or you don't have all might, is it going to be easy for you to rule over people or to pass judgment or to make rulings? What do you think? For this is this is important, right? So sometimes we need to have power. Yes, an easy word, need to have power for ruling, to make judgments, to be the judge, right? To be the for execution of everything. It is important that power is with that entity as well. Okay, with Allah, everything is limitless. It has no beginning, no end. You know, all sifat of Allah are just like that. So, but just when you understand why something is mentioned before something, why this sifa is mentioned before um, other sifa, that is what I want you to understand. Al Ghafurur Rahim. When you see Al Ghafur Ar Rahim, what is the reason for that? Why is Ghafur first and then Rahim second? Most places in Quran. Why is Ghafur Rahim? Why do you see that order? Ghafara means to forgive, right? To forgive, to hide, and basically to forgive and hide a sin. So first, you have to forgive, and then hide that sin that person has done, so that such that it never happened. And then comes the rahmah. Then comes the rahmah. First, if you don't forgive someone, how can you show mercy to that very person? Can you show mercy without rahmah? Think without forgiving. If somebody does any wrong to me and I don't forgive them, and can I still show mercy to them? I cannot. And I'm just human mercy and human forgiveness is so faulty. But just to I'm trying to make you understand the sequence is there for the reason. And when you see the sequence, you should try to figure out, is this mentioned before Ghafur is mentioned before Rahma? Because first forgiveness is important, that whatever the person has done and all the mistakes that they have made, and then comes an idea of mercy, right? So, innahu la ilaha illallah. Indeed, there's no Allah, but there's no God but Allah, right? Wastaghfir li zambik. Because there is no God other than Allah, and you seek forgiveness for your sin. Why is this mentioned before? Because when only Allah has the might, has the power to forgive the sins. He is the only Ilah. He is the only person that you should seek, right? He is the only entity that you should seek. Okay? Is this clear to all of you? That why is something mentioned before? That you knowing that there is no Ilah but Allah should be kept in mind, and then that will lead to the cause of you asking forgiveness to Him, right? From Him. You will seek forgiveness from Him, because after knowing that He is the only Ilah out there. And again, the last example, you have to worship Him first, and then you seek for help. You don't seek help without worshiping Him. First, worship Him, make a case, worship Him, do everything that He wants you to do, and then you seek help from Him. Okay? So, this is the sabab for this. Okay? Then comes your al kasra, whatever is mentioned before, is more in number. For example, minkum kafirun, wa minkum mu'min. So one may ask that why is kafir showing being shown tashrif? Is it for tashrif? The kafir is coming before mu'min? Why is this so? Because there were kafir were way many. Okay, there are a lot more disbelievers. There were a lot more disbelievers, and there still are than believers, right? So that is why, because this is just if somebody asks why kafir is being shown in this jumla ismiya is before this jumla ismiya, your answer should be because the number is more. The disbelievers are more in number, therefore they have been brought forward, and believers are less in number, therefore they have been mentioned afterwards. When it comes to wasariqu wasariqatu faqta'u, the thief, the male thief and the female thief. Why is male thief who does the stealing? And it's not we are not labeling any gender, it's just males are more prone to criminal acts. So wasariku is therefore you know and because they have the situation is such that they are more prone to do that, therefore they have been mentioned before. When I was reading these notes, in those notes also came the verse of zina, was zaniyatu was zanin. What do you think could have been the reason for zania being mentioned before zani? What could be the reason in Surah An-Nur the order was reversed? The women were I think that one of the very few places where women are mentioned first and men are mentioned afterwards. The more women do zina, or what? Oh yeah, that's what it was. And it was explained such that the meaning that I was getting was that because the act happens with women more, so they are mentioned first. Females um I think if what I think about this verse was how I understood this one was um because this act does not happen without the consent of women. Without the consent of women, this thing cannot happen. This is a mutually consented act. So zina is not something that happens, it's not somebody attacking you, it's something it's not like a rape. So yeah. So I think that they have been mentioned, and this is actually a way of condemning them. So we need to be very careful of how we present ourselves. Unfortunately, that our we have guidance in hand, that we can control things, and we can control our nafs, but sometimes things and how the societal pressures are, people are not able to control themselves, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from every all these acts, inshallah. So at-tarakki min al-adna ila al-a'la. So sometimes you see in Quran, there is a verse in Surah Al-A'raf 195. Alahum arjulun yamshun. Do they have feet? They yamshuna biha. They walk with it. Am lahum aydin yabtishuna biha. Do they have hands? They grab with them. Am lahum ayunun yubsiruna biha. Do they have eyes? They see with them. Am lahum adhanun yasmauna biha. Do they have ears? They hear with them. So how from the foot to the to the ears, though you may make an argument here that your ears are a little lower than the eyes, but don't look, don't go that far, okay? But you can see here that how from the foot, from the feet to the hands to the eyes and the ears we went, right? Yes, root, trunk, branches, and pattern. Yes, that kind of a thing. Keep in mind that that's from progress from lower to from down to up. That is what it meant. Everyone with me now? Do you all understand what is progress from down to up? At-tarakki min al-adna ila al-a'la. That something from the foot we went up to the ears. Okay, alhamdulillah. So sometimes at-ta'jil in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, afallahu ank lima azinta lahum. Allah forgave you. Lima azinta lahum. Why did you grant them leave for remaining behind. So, do you notice what happened first? What should have been the order? Do you think something has been brought forward? Something that should have not been done has been mentioned in this part. Lima azinta lahum. Why did you give them permission? حتى يتبين لك الذين صدقوا وتعلم الكاذبين. Until you know, until it was made clear to you those who told the truth, and the liars from among them. But why is this part mentioned, after and afallahu ank? Why is forgiveness by Allah to His beloved mentioned first? Can anyone tell? It is Allah is just rushing to tell him. That is showing the love of Allah for His beloved. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? Afallahu ank. Allah forgave you. Allah forgave you. It is just an immense love. This has been, Allah is rushing. Allah is showing an urgency to tell His beloved that he has been forgiven. But yes, he is being reprimanded here, that why did he give permission to them until things got clarified? Yeah? Everyone with me? Got it? And sometimes, don't when you have something good to tell to someone, you just rush, right? Result. If it is a good result, that you just begin with the result, you know. So these are few of the cases I wanted you all to learn about, and these reasons are not grammatical, the nahu reasons. These are just when you are going to go through Quran and you find something before something, you must you must understand what could be the reason. Could it be showing ta'jil, or could it be inciting an interest in the meaning of, it is tashwiq, and is it ihtimam, or is it takhweef wa tahzir, or sababiyya, something is showing increase in number and all that. So there was a question that I was asked when it comes to al-hasr wal-kasr wa takhsis. I want you all to know, wanted to cover this with you all today, but I could not get the time to do so. Al-hasr wal-kasr wa takhsis, these all these you have to understand them in the world of grammar as interchangeable terms. They are synonymous. You have to understand them synonymous, as synonymous words. Okay. Bilkul, absolutely. Sister Sora, you have a question? You can unmute yourself, dear sister.
Yeah, I have a question. It's not about this lesson.
Yeah.
But remember you told us that the ka and kum is for they are harf of khatab.
Yes, in iyaka. Yeah.
And when I see there were two words and I was confused between them, and like ara'aytum and then ara'aytakum.
Yes, so there was a special case, if you remember. Let me take you to this our special session. That رأيتكم, when ta'ul file is followed by kaful khitab. Like
Yeah.
your pronoun is ta'ul file, and then
Yeah.
you see kaful khitab after it. Your kaful khitab is going to be harf khitab. It is
Yeah.
just for emphasis. It's bringing,
Oh, okay. So it's
focus.
not like when there is a kum, then the people are right in front of you rather than.
You are, yeah, this is, just, bringing more, just
Emphasis. Okay.
emphasis. And yeah, basically, you are addressing those people. This is a khitab. You're doing a khitab, but at the same time, there is more emphasis there. Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
I
And
hope
in Ara'aytum also you are doing khatab, right?
Ara'aytum,
Mhm.
you are asking, do you all, there's a question from the beginning, but there is
Mhm.
no harf khitab. There is no harf khitab. You're not seeing kaful khitab there, right? You're just
Okay.
in policy. It's a simple thing, right?
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Thank you.
You're
Sakula.
welcome. Yeah, Sister Faiza is going to share the video as well, and also there are notes. I just went over them this morning, so you can share the slides as well from session number, I think, 149 or 148. Yeah. Okay, so with that, I will end the session. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my very dear sisters. Take care. Ameen wa yakum.